Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Lee.
I'm Dan Curley.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the
401.
401.
It is a little late this evening, so let's just consider this a late night talk show.
Episode 2.
Um, so tonight we've got a few segments lined up. Sorry for such a late start, but it's well worth watching, even if you're not watching us live. If you watch us later on, recorded, that's cool too. But we've got some interesting things to talk about, I guess. Isn't that right, Dan?
It's right.
And I'm gonna blame it all on my kids. I'm just kidding. They're angels.
I will too. No.
Yeah, Dan is like, I will too. They're terrible. I'm just kidding. No, they're great. Just busy, you know. So what you been up to, Dan?
Oh, same old, same old. Digging through my Titanic stuff, seeing what's around, seeing working, doing all the daily grind, looking forward to this. So
So how long have you been collecting, Dan?
probably since about 96, 97, probably around there, because that's when I was let's see, I would have been 9, I think. Because yeah, it's like weird. I could have swore that the Cameron movie got me into Titanic, but then I think maybe I saw the Cameron movie because I was already reading about Titanic, but it was like around that same general area there.
One night we should try to like pull out like our very first piece of memorabilia and show that. I've been collecting a little bit longer than you. We won't talk about how much longer because it makes me feel old.
Oh, stop it.
No, yeah. Anyway, moving right along.
But yeah, I think for me there's like 2 or 3 books that might be the first one.
I think my first piece was probably a book from Scholastic. Like the books that would come to your school, like the little. Please tell me that you're young enough to have had that happen when you were in school. The little.
Oh yeah, they gave you the little
Thank
paper,
you.
the little paper magazine that you flip through, and then we had book fairs.
And then the book fair would come every once in a while. I still like to go to my kids' book fairs because every once in a while, like they'll have a Titanic book. I'm still that mom, like, oh, I'll go to your book fair.
Do you buy it every time? Do you buy it every time if you see a Titanic book?
Yeah, I do. And like when the school gives out free books, I'm like, oh, they want the Titanic ones, the free Titanic books. Yeah, those are they want the free ones. And I'm like, you don't want that. It's mine. They know, they just know to expect that. Oh, we want the Titanic books so we can give them to mommy.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like, can we read them? I'm like, no. Anyway, so
no, they must be in mint condition. You must never touch them ever.
Like, no, you must not crinkle the pages. Anyway, tonight's hot topics. We wanted to talk about movies. I know any Titanic fan probably has a shelf somewhere on their DVD cabinet, or even in their DVD collectors shelves that looks like mine.
Ooh, you have a couple that I don't have.
Anyone? So the hot topic is there a need for all of these movies? Are there movies that are more historically accurate than others? And is there really a purpose for all these? I don't even have that many. I know there are many, many, many more out there that I don't have. And this isn't even all of my collection. I just grabbed a few at random. But let's just kind of jump into these. I'm going to be honest. This is not a great movie, but it is what got me here. This movie right here is what got me here, talking to you lovely people and to my friend Dan. I was just a little kid. Huh?
But if you're a Jason Robards fan, that's the movie for you. But
I
remember, you were like, you saw that before because you were like, what? Oh no, You
We're
were
not going to talk about how old I am, Dan.
you were a tiny child.
I was a tiny child. No, I really was. I was a tiny child. My grandparents, I know, I'm sure there's so many times, I know you guys are sick of hearing it. My grandparents wouldn't let me watch Dallas on TV. I could watch anything at my grandparents' house. Like I could watch Mr. T. I could watch
I
the
remember the
A-Team.
Mr. T.
I could watch anything, but when it came to Dallas, that crossed the line. I could not watch Dallas. So they would send me into their room with the TV remote and tell me to watch anything but Dallas.
Dallas isn't that
I
dirty of a show.
happened across this, which was horrible. But Raise the Titanic is what got me interested in the Titanic. Horrible movie.
I mean, I wouldn't say like personally, like it's for me, it's kind of dry. Like it's in terms of like an action adventure. Like I think because the book by Clive Cussler was a lot more detailed, a lot more.
The book is a lot better.
Yeah, but like because I think they wanted like, which was weird though, because that was made in the period where Titanic really wasn't, like this will sound blasphemous to people, where Titanic really wasn't that big of a deal at the time before the wreck was found. Then it exploded.
Yes.
But like the 50s were big with a couple of movies we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. And then like the late 80s. But when this was made, so it was a weird choice for them to make. And
I will say, I happened to watch this the same year the wreck was discovered. My poor little kid's heart was broken when I found out that the wreck was broken in two, because I was like, oh, they'll never raise it like in the movie.
Yeah.
And yet there's still adults out there arguing today that it can still be raised. I was 6 and I'm like, oh, they'll never be able to raise it like in the movie.
I don't remember who said it to like someone mentioned that, like, what do you do with it? Like, even if you get like a giant, like big portion of it, what do you do with it? Like, I mean, but
hey, Alex, by the way, Alex McLaughlin is watching. He agrees the book is better than the movie. Wesley Burton says, I couldn't get through that movie. I remember enjoying the book much better though.
Yeah, because the book, that's the thing though. Like, rarely is it like, I think the only movie and book into movie that I think the movie improved on was Jaws, because it got rid of a lot of. Oh, I mean, that's just like, it's rare for like book into movie to be better than movie into book.
This is why I like again, you go from Titanic to Jaws.
Well, no, but I mean, it fits because Raise the Titanic is one of the few Titanic books that was like faithfully like 100% made into the movie. Like A Night to Remember isn't. The Night to Remember book is, which that's one of the best ones.
This is a much more historically accurate movie than say, for example, Raise the Titanic. So is this more, does this have a better place in the Titanic community? So this is why this is a hot topic. Do movies like Raise the Titanic have a better place in the Titanic community than say Raise the Titanic? Even though people like me may not be in the Titanic community if it wasn't for movies like Raise the Titanic. And people like you, Dan, would not be in the Titanic community if it wasn't for movies like, dare we say it?
That one, but also its cousin from the year before, the TV movie.
Oh, I don't even have that one.
I do. It was
cousin of this one, the infamous 96 miniseries. Alex McLaughlin says, I remember seeing the cover of RTT Raise the Titanic for the first time. A friend of mine was asking, how is this funnel black on the Titanic, Alex? And I was just as confused as this was like way in the early days about learning the Titanic. Yes, that is very, and then, what irks me to this day about Raise the Titanic, they had such an opportunity to like get things right.
Yeah.
Ballroom, grand staircase, nothing. Anyway, so A Night to Remember, much more historically accurate. And if you look at A Night to Remember, and James Cameron's 97 Titanic, there are some similarities.
Oh yeah, they're pretty much. I I would say probably one's a remake of the other. Like
In some scenes,
yeah.
there's definitely. But then, so one generation
Hmm.
watched A Night to Remember and became very interested in Titanic, and another generation watched James Cameron's Titanic and became very interested in Titanic. And I am the idiot that watched Raise the Titanic.
Well, no, I think because
But it led me to go to the library and check out every book on the Titanic. And then when the National Geographic documentary finally dropped, I checked that thing out of the library a bazillion times. And yes, it was on VHS, Dan. You probably don't even know what VHS is.
of course.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, that was me. All right, so some other ones, and y'all, I'm sorry. I love this movie. I love this book. Dan and I probably have we like behind the scenes. Dan and I are such nerds. We probably have a bazillion copies of this book right here. Oh, do you have the hard copy? Do you have the big hardback copy? Do you have the paperback? Do you know how many times we've
I even have the VHS of that movie I found.
do you?
Yeah.
You know how hard it was for me to find the DVD of this?
I bought that too. I have the big hardback, the paperback, her other Titanic book that you sent me, Good
Oh, I
Woman.
have that
So,
one too. Danielle Steele, y'all. I know this is just a Titanic faux pas. Danielle Steele has written 2 Titanic-based books. Y'all, I have not read the second one, but I have read this one, No Greater Love, and it is actually really good. I'm sorry. And the book is, I mean, the movie is not half bad either. Just saying.
and hey, she even took care to put historical characters in there.
She did. She
Light
put
colors in
historical
there.
characters in there. She, I mean, she described things on the ship that were actually historical accurate. Do not write off Danielle Steele, y'all. I'm just saying. I mean, it's not up there with A Night to Remember, but
But I think though it goes back to your Raise the Titanic point as well. Even if it's not like there's a different end of the spectrum where like A Night to Remember is like super accurate, even though the ship sinks in one piece, but that's of the time it was made. It was thought to be one piece. But then you
Alex said, wait a minute, hold on. Alex said he just got a new copy of A Night to Remember. It had some interesting docos, was it documentaries about behind the scenes of the movie that had a few mentions of the 97 Titanic entrance. And he also says, interestingly, about No Greater Love, the life jacket props used in that movie were the same life jacket props used in the deleted sinking scenes of Raise the Titanic. Oh, that is interesting.
wow.
I seem to remember something about the life jackets from No Greater Love. That's interesting. Thank you for that, Alex. Okay, what do we know about this movie? I don't.
I know that
on TV. I haven't opened it. Oh yeah.
I have 2 thoughts on this movie. One, it pees me off because of the lady on the left hand side, 2 people down from the left of Captain
Okay.
there. It's a stewardess, no, the other side. So look, no, one next to at the end there. No, there you go. So it's a brunette stewardess on the Titanic. I was like, when I first saw like the pictures of this, I was like, oh my God, it's the first movie since SOS Titanic to have Violet Jessup in it. I was like, yes, finally, because I'm super fan, Jessup super fan, hashtag. And I looked the character up. It's a second class stewardess under a different name. And I was like, ah.
So it wasn't really Violet Jessup then.
No, she's the only movie she's been in, someone pointed out, was SOS Titanic in the 70s.
And I don't have that one for some reason.
I do. I have that. I bought the blue.
Of course you do, because it has Violet Jessup in it.
No, that's not why. But also Titanic 2012 there. Back to that one real quick. The sinking scene is pretty good.
The sinking scene is good in this one. All right, so we've got like bits and pieces of these like movies that some are good here and there. So this one's kind of infamous, Titanic Chronicles. It's got what's his name? This guy,
Yeah, a lot of that is the cast of the
Tim Curry,
96
and it's
movie.
got this chick from Taxi.
Yeah,
And
she
then
played Molly Brown.
come to find out, our friend Emmett James is in here, which we have his autograph.
We do.
Emmett James, he was the Stewart from the '97 movie.
Yeah, that Molly Brown says, son,
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah,
on?
it says right here in the back, Emmett James. See, I'm not crazy, Dan.
But yeah,
So
Mary Lou Henner, she played Molly. That was made the same time the 96 one
it
was.
also has Bernard Hill. Wasn't he in the '97?
That's Captain Smith.
Yeah. So it has Bernard Hill and it's got Emmett James. They were both in the '97 Titanic. But
Kate Winslet in Titanic Chronicles, or am I crazy?
who?
Kate Winslet. Or am I going insane?
Gloria Stewart.
Oh, okay.
So it's got 3 people that were in the '97 Titanic.
Like I could have swore Kate Winslet was in the Titanic Chronicle, because it's not the 90s. It's not like they're like voicing characters, I think. Like I think Tim Curry's Lightoller in Titanic Chronicle. I don't remember.
Nice.
It's been a while.
All right. Wesley Burton says, "Oh, that series had a lot of potential. Too bad they threw it away. The final plunge was pretty interesting, though. Very different portrayal from most other films." I'll have to watch that again.
Yeah, the guy
blend together after a while because I've seen so many of them.
Yeah, the guy who made Downton Abbey made that mini series, and that's Downton Abbey starts because of the Titanic sinking.
I'm looking for a new series to watch. I started watching Game of Thrones, and I'm kind of like, and then this one I need to rewatch. I watched it again. So I watched it when I was a little girl. And
that one.
Yes, Alex, Titanic Chronicles. Check it out. Alex says this makes 2 of us. Violet Jessup story still hooks me. I have her book on her life.
Yeah, that Titanic.
Alex, if you are really interested in Violet Jessup, have you ever heard the recording of her voice? Dan and I have heard it. If you Google it, not Google it, go to YouTube, you can probably find it. There's a voice recording of Violet Jessup that's very good. How accurate is this, y'all? Clifton Webb.
Well, I mean, at the end, they're all singing before the ship. Like, there's like an explosion.
Y'all, if the ship was sinking, the last thing my boat would be doing is singing. I would be like, get me off the ship. I'm sorry, no kumbaya or anything. I feel like, bye, y'all.
Well, I think the problem with the unlucky part with the Clifton Webb Titanic movie is it came out 5 years later. A Night to Remember came out. I mean, A Night to Remember wasn't a massive success, but I mean, it kind of like was like, get out the way. I'm going to be the 50s Titanic movie. Yeah, and I think.
So that's our hot topic. Just leaving y'all with that impression. Just there are so many Titanic movies out there. I think they do have a place in the Titanic community. Something has all brought us here, whether it's a book or a movie, a good one or a bad one.
Well, and it's like, to your point though, like, like even the 96 miniseries even has like decent parts, like when the little kid is like looking up at the stars at when the ship's about to sink, and I'm like, oh, that's sad, but then they ruin it with Tim Curry getting hit in the face with an oar. So I
can watch that again because
it's
I remember watching that when it came out at the end, and I was like, I really hope this new movie they're talking about coming out is better than the mini series.
It was slightly no, I mean it's
and it was because I remember watching the mini series and I was like, I hear there's a movie coming out in the theater. I hope it's better than this. And it was, because it was better. Yes. All right, current events. I don't really have a whole lot for current events. All I can say is the OceanGate epic expedition is finally over. They are sharing some amazing video footage and pictures of Titanic. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
For those of you who were able to go, that's lovely.
Yeah, I'm like 50-50. I've had a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, would you ever do it?" And I was like,
Alex said he said, I honestly laughed at Tim's character getting whacked by the oar. I think we all did. And, you know, honestly,
my fifth officer Low, superhero Low.
that scene kind of like reminds me of the scene in the 97 Titanic. Everybody knows that scene where the poor victim like falls to his death and hits the
the propeller.
Every time, I don't laugh, but every time I see it, I go,
yeah, that was
like,
definitely a weird, and I think that's another, I mean,
you don't want to laugh because you're like, oh my God.
well, I think that's
every single
another
time, like, oh God.
like A Night to Remember doesn't have like comedic moments like that. Like
I
97.
didn't think it was comedic. I was just like,
Well, no, like not comedic, but like shock moments where it's like, whoa, like.
every single time, I'm just like, oh.
But the problem is too that may have actually had like as like shock as it is to see in the theaters, it's like it's not pretty. I mean, it was a ship that cracked in two pieces and sank in the middle of the freezing ocean. You know, I think
You're just like, ooh, I hope that didn't happen to anybody.
yeah.
All right, so moving on from current events to collectibles. This is probably like my favorite segment. We'll have to do like a group show and tell sometime. But right now, Dan and I have brought our stuff. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
You could go first.
All right, so I'll start off with like my newest collectible. It's new to me, but it's something that I've been after for a long, long time. I like to bargain shop. Dan knows this, and soon everybody will know this. So I had like, well, when I had more time, I like to go to thrift shops and stuff. But I don't really have time to, so I have to get more inventive, and I do the eBay thing and marketplace thing. So I've been after this for a while, and I refuse to pay the high prices for it. But this is called The Spirit of Titanic. It came out in the 90s, and it's hand numbered. Mine is number 2057 of 5,000. You can see the little hand numbered thing under there. But I've been after this for a while, and it's hard to find one that the water is not evaporated and that it's not all yellow and funky. It's a tiny little bit cloudy, but I mean, for something that's this old, I think it came out in 98 or 97 or 98, something like that. But for something this old, I mean, for a snow globe, it's not too shabby. I mean, it's so cool. Look how like it's translucent and everything. It looks like that iceberg, and the ship is sinking, and it's the water is kind of translucent. I think it's just very unique. I'm not really a snow globe collector, but I just thought this one was so unique. I've just been kind of after it for a while. So I got a pretty good deal on it. So I was pretty happy with that. So that's like my new collectible. My son was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And he's 18 and not really impressed by anything. And he was like, ooh, that's pretty cool. So I'll take that. Alex says, ooh, Titanic snow globe. I like it. I think it's pretty neat. Yay, I was excited about that find.
I like the colors with it.
I do too. That's a really unique one. I've been after the other one I'm after is like one that looks like the grand staircase.
Ooh.
Like the really nice one. I have a small one. I love it. That has Jack and Rose on it, but I want the one that's like the big staircase with the angel in the middle. I mean the cherub. I can't quite find that one. But anywho, what you got, Dan?
Let's see. Well, I think we brought these up. We got this is my let's see, which one do I want to start with? We'll start with the coins. Why not? So yeah, I was just I'm a big coin guy. I love coins. I look everywhere, you know. I look at the years all the time. I'm like, ooh, that's this one. And when I never really put the two together, like the two hobbies or Titanic historian and the coin thing together. And then I started like finding stuff that was, just related. So these are a couple of like the random ones. Like I took a 1985 quarter because that's the year the Titanic was found.
Oh, that's cool.
Then I did 1997 for a certain movie with
Make it count. Oh, I love that.
with Jack and Rose in it. Can't say those words, they're cuss words. And then this one I thought was cool because of my fondness for it has grown over the years. Is a 1958 penny for A Night to Remember.
Great.
And then you have these are a lot of, this is a silver from the UK. I believe it's a pound. I could be wrong. Is it a pound?
That is shiny.
Yeah, and then it has Queen Elizabeth, the monarch, whose great grandfather was king when Titanic sank. Spoiler for a couple of seconds from now. So that's the Titanic there. And what else do I got here? And then there's this one. You can always, these are pretty easy to find, but I thought they were neat. This is a $2 bill with the Titanic drawn on it. And for you non-American viewers out there, the funny thing about this is, and Joe will tell you, nobody uses the $2 bill. So I mean, I bet it's pretty common for me.
Like, save those.
Oh, that's me. It's like, oh, this one's from 2006. This will be something. But then what else? Oh, here we go. And then these are the actually from Titanic time coins that I have. So we got 1912 quarter.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah, I found it in Kentucky the same day I found a first edition of A Night to Remember, the book. So that was pretty lucky. This is a dime, 1912
nice.
dime, which, if you'll remember, is how much Jack charged Rose for their art project. We won't go
to the infamous drawing.
This is Joel recognized this one. That's the Liberty nickel.
I've got one too. This is really nice. If you actually come across one of these guys and have the opportunity to buy one, it comes in this nice little, I don't know if you can see this nice little book, the Liberty nickel, and it opens up and it tells you all kinds of little facts about the Titanic. I read them. Not all of them are accurate.
Hey, they tried.
They tried though. But it and then it gives you this little nickel. I don't know if you can see it. And it gives you a little window in the front and the back, and it's an actual nickel from 1912. Ooh. What else you got, Dan?
And then here's a 1912 penny with Honest Abe on it. He never told a lie. And the funny thing about it is, this is like still how the penny looks. It's one of the rare.
Is yours a wee penny?
Yes, it is.
I have one too. Mine's in like the little Titanic case or whatever. And again,
mine is less fancy.
They try to do the little Titanic facts or whatever. And
were they all accurate?
It's been a while since I read this one. It says Titanic was rashly deemed unsinkable by our designers. That was a media ploy. It wasn't by her designers. It's been proven that it was not by Harlan and Wolff or the White Star Line. Let's see. Carry more than 25. I don't know. It said over 1,500 people died. It was 1,496 people died.
You got to throw it away. All that's inaccurate.
No, they tried. They really tried, but it's a nice little display.
Here's my last coin. You could actually kind of link to the Titanic story. So this book here is a really cool story. It's called The Two Pennies. And it's by Susie Miller, which actually, a little side note, I was telling Joe off camera, I never looked at the front cover of the book. It's signed by the author.
I can't remember if I have that one or not.
But yes, but yeah, always check your books. So Susie
So always
Miller,
check 'em.
her great grandfather was an engineer on the Titanic. And what he did was in the story, before he left to join the crew, he gave his sons a British penny apiece. So I was always looking for a British penny just because of the book. And I want to get two, but this is the 1912 Great Britain penny with George V on it, who was the King of England during the sinking of the Titanic. So it's kind of cool that his granddaughter is on this commemorative.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And then, but yeah, in the story, that's the two sons are each given a British penny, and then their father sadly dies on the Titanic. He was an engineer, and they still have the two pennies in the book. You see, they have the two pennies from that the father gave him before he left. And I think it's a super touching, real people story. It's one of those things where, a little coin could give you so much history. And then this story proves it's not just a coin. It's like you could build upon it. And then that's also, the guy was an engineer. I'm trying to remember what his name was. Give me 1 second. My apology. Tommy Miller was the engineer that died on the Titanic. And it's just that I love like the real people story, like, talking about like, I bring her up, but Violet Jessup, you hear about all the time. Thomas Andrews, you hear about all the time. Lightoller, you hear about all the time. It's cool to hear stories of, people who are just doing their jobs, the engineers, the other stewards, the crew members that weren't like super famous, So I love getting to see more human stories like that. It's really interesting.
I think Alex McLaughlin has us all beat. He just says, I met Susie Millar. She told me about the story when she took me and my dad on a tour around Belfast, and she still has those pennies to this day.
Yeah, that in the book. Yeah, that's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. In the book, there's a picture of them posing. They're framed. They have them framed.
Nice. Very nice.
That is really cool. That's a once in a lifetime memory.
All right. Any more money for you, Dan?
I mean, if anybody has something to give me, I'll take it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have a commemorative coin. Mine is from I guess it's like a centennial coin. I don't know. Let's see if you can see it. It has like the Titanic.
Oh, yours is actually printed to be like this one was like printed over it. That one's minted to be Titanic, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it. I have a habit of buying out people's collections, like when they put them on Marketplace and when they put them on eBay. So I'll just come in and like if they sell their collection really cheaply, I'll just buy it out. So this was just part of a collection that I bought out one time. So I really don't know anything about it. It's in like a little case. Well, no, RMS Titanic, April 10th through 15th, 1912. On the back of it, it says Elizabeth II. That says Cook's Islands commemoration.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking yours is just unpainted. I think somebody just painted.
I think it's just a centennial.
Because that's what mine is too, 100 years.
So Alex actually got to see the real pennies. He said, I'll never forget seeing those pennies. They are beautifully framed.
And it's really cool. And I like their size too. They're actually they're not like, they're about the size of a $50.
Wow. This is something tacky. I collect tacky stuff on occasion. This is something I found, I think on Etsy or something. It's just like a little commemorative dollar or whatever.
Mine is somewhere. I know you said
something someone printed. I don't know. People just make up stuff, but it's like a fake Titanic money. I don't know. I really don't even know what this is supposed to be.
Sent me one too, and I put it.
I just don't even know. On the front is like the Titanic, and on the back is just,
I like the hat on the front.
I don't know. My friend Abby says, haha, I'm so amazed. How did you find all those unique pennies about the Titanic? How long you had them for?
Me or you?
I don't know, either one of us. Like mine, this is part of a collection buyout that I bought many, many years ago. And my Louis nickel, my uncle sent it to me because he knows I'm a Titanic nut.
I bought the nickel because I saw you had one. I was like, that looks cool. I think the one I've had, the one I had the longest was the quarter from 1912. I found that on a trip to Kentucky. And the others I bought pretty close to one another because I got it. I was like, I wanted at least a quarter, dime, nickel, penny. And then when I read the book, the 2 pennies, I was like, I'd love that's something cool because it links it to so whenever I see the penny, I think of the story too. So
yeah, Abby, we've been doing this a long time, babe. She's one of my dear friends. But yes, sweetie, we've been doing this a long time. And it's just stuff we run across, just here and there. Like I said, I find some of my stuff on eBay, some of it Etsy, some marketplace, some of it's thrift shop.
Amazon, I got a couple of those off of Amazon. It's up in the air though with them because like they have one but then they don't have other. It's you can, but it's kind of difficult. And then the one I just found in a shop that was which they could kind of, a lot of the shops, it's like some of them upcharge, but that's a whole other.
Sometimes you're like in a little shop and you're walking by something, you're like,
I'll take that, please.
You're like, all right. So my last thing that I have, I think Dana and I both have the same thing. This is one of my more recent buys. I bought it a few months ago. This is the Wreck of the Titanic sheet music. It's supposed to be from 1912. At least that's what it said it was from. And I've done some research on it and verified some of them are printed in 1912 and some of them are printed in the 50s. This one does not look like the one that was printed in the 50s. It's very fragile. That's why I have it in a sealed bag. It's very lovely. I've taken it out and looked at it like once or twice. It should probably be handled with gloved hands. Is yours like all intact or all the pages together? Mine,
I actually haven't like touched it.
Mine, the pages are not together. Like they're not actually connected together anymore. So I want to have mine framed.
And then mine's brown too.
Mine's like a kind of a bluish color, but it's very, very, very fragile. The pages are just very thin and very.
Oh yeah, I barely take these out too. I keep them in a drawer, like.
Yeah. So I try to keep it out of the light, and I'm gonna put it in like a protective frame. But I love stuff like this. I have quite a few items from 1912. Several books from 1912. The Shell Memorial that I showed last week. What else do I have from 1912, Dan? The money. Yeah,
I got the coins.
I
had a couple.
But I love I'll have to show that sometime. The Cadbury ad. Oh, you have that one too. I want to get that one.
Yeah, there's
several of them from 1912.
My sweetheart went down with the ship.
I'm just waiting for the opportunity to get that one at a decent price. This one I somehow stumbled across for like $15.
I had a friend that he was into. He used to sell like sheet music and all kinds of like war memorabilia and stuff, and so he gave me a super deal on it. And that was a few years back. And then I also got this one here.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, there's that one. But yeah, this I got he gave me a very, very good friend deal on the 3 of them. And I was like, I couldn't turn it down. But yeah, I don't even like look at them. They're in a drawer flat underneath, some other stuff. I'm like, I'm like, I'll take them out and then Like, yeah, I don't think I looked at those for at least a year and a half, 2 years, maybe even more. I love sheet music. Like you said, though, sheet music is so cool. It could be an art piece, it could be it's just interesting too. And it's also like you look at it, like we have tribute songs for everything nowadays. They're like, oh,
They
we're
did
never.
then too,
Hmm.
and so the sheet music, when something would happen, just like in modern times, even back then at the turn of the century, they had tribute music, in their own way. So it's nice to have that preserved in history. My friend Abby said some things you don't see every place when getting awesome Titanic value items. Love how you guys in touch with the history. So I think she's saying she loves how we, are able to touch history or keep in touch with
Oh
history. I
yeah.
like having tangible items like that are
Mhm.
part of history.
Oh, well, that's with me with the coins too. And
Mhm.
I honestly suggest to people, if you are like any sort of history, it's coins are always like something you could do. Like if you read about World War II, you could have like a coin from 1941 for like Pearl Harbor, or like Titanic with those. And I mean, they might get a little expensive because a lot of times too with the older coins, they're
Mhm.
silver, or they have like, because a lot of coins used to have silver in it, so that would make them more expensive. But like, that would be my biggest thing to tell people is, if you want to have something neat to link to an event, a coin is the coin, or like the sheet music there, because that was what somebody who heard about Titanic, read about it in the newspaper, then they might have gone to the music shop and picked that up and then played it with their family or something on the piano. So it's really cool.
We're going to move on to our next segment, which is books.
Books.
Books. Dan and I think that was our first kind of like the way we met was through Titanic books.
Yes.
And so again, I think I explained it last week. I don't have a whole lot of time to read right now, but I enjoy so much collecting books, odd books, rare books, autographed books. I have close to 300 and some Titanic books in my Titanic library. I do love to read them. I love to look at the beautiful pictures. Um, and I love to find rare and interesting books. So Dan is this a new book for you? What do you have?
Which one? Oh, the one.
The one that you have. I've got two books to talk about here. What do you have?
I got, we have the joint book that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
And then this one I actually found, and this is another thing too that I would, for, don't, even if you don't see the word Titanic, if you're going to a thrift shop, that doesn't mean something's, excuse me, that something isn't there. So I was going through, looking around, and people will see me in the shop. I'll be going like down the rows, looking, and then the word shipwreck popped out, and I was like, uh-oh. And then I saw this little guy here, The Science of a Shipwreck, which the Costa Concordia, which is a whole other shipwreck story. If anybody's interested to talk about it, it's a crazy story. But anyway, so I was looking at this book and I was like, oh, I wonder if our girl is going to be listed in there. And, open the book, and then first page, there you go. So it's not, it's meant more for kids, like Joe's three kids would possibly run in. No, I mean, they would. I mean, it's like a little.
I'd never get it. It would be for me.
Mhm. They'd be like, "Mommy, buy me a case of a shipwreck." But but anyway, it's an interesting little book because it, Costa Concordia on the front, and then Titanic isn't in the whole book, but it's like linked through there a little bit. They'll mention Titanic here and there, and there's, the picture of Titanic. They mention Ballard. in there, and it's a nice little introductory book that I thought was kind of cool, because it's like you were saying with Race the Titanic earlier, it's like
It's a
read
good way to get
this.
hooked on
Absolutely.
Titanic or any other shipwreck that you find interesting.
But yeah, that's the big tip though. Look for keywords:
Shipwreck
shipwreck, disaster, stuff like that.
or diving or underwater. I had an
Mhm.
interesting experience like that a few years ago when I was at a thrift shop and I found a book about underwater exploration or diving or something like that. And there was a whole section about the Britannic. And you
Oh,
just don't
cool.
find a whole lot of books about the Britannic, especially like
Oh yeah,
underwater diving and stuff. So I snapped that up because you don't see a whole lot about the Britannic.
absolutely. It's a lot of the Britannic comes up in books you would find through the community.
Mhm.
That's
So I got that. That was a really interesting book. And like you, I was like scanning through like hundreds of books. I'm like,
absolutely
yeah.
100%.
Steve Hall says, "Hi Dan, interesting talk."
Hi, Steve. How are you?
So now we're gonna move to, so that was a nonfiction book, and that's pretty much what everybody likes to talk about when it comes to Titanic and the Titanic community. And a lot of times, really good books get written off, so to speak.
Mhm.
Steve Hall is a very good nonfiction Titanic writer and author.
A
He's very
great
well respected,
nonfiction Titanic
and
writer.
my bookshelves are lined with his books. Um, but then there are some other books that are worth mentioning that are fictional. And this is an unpopular opinion, but Dan and I, right, Dan, we think that there is also a place for a good Titanic novel in the Titanic community. Um, there are some stinkers out there. Um, but just like I mentioned, there are a few good ones. Um, No Greater Love was, I was like, I'm not reading this thing by Danielle Steele. It's awful. Why is Dan making me read this?
I
But I was
didn't
pleasantly
make you.
surprised, and I will say why, because that woman took the time to research the Titanic, and she got
Mhm.
some real factual things right, and then she carried her story through, and followed the characters through her story after the
Mhm.
Titanic sank, and followed them in the years afterwards, and
Mhm.
in the aftermath, and that was so fascinating because usually when you read a Titanic story, even in nonfiction, the
Mhm.
story ends with the sinking, and you're like, you don't hear about what happens in the years to come, what
Absolutely.
struggles these people faced and the loss of life and loved ones and that kind of thing. So that's one thing I really did like about Danielle Steele's story.
Well, what's
Fictional or
cool
not,
about
she did a lot of research on it. You
what's
can
cool
tell.
about Danielle Steele though, and what's kind of interesting is she was a big back when she was like really popular, like
Mhm.
probably late 80s or 90s. Was she was a lot, she was like an airport book, like you would buy her book if you're traveling a lot, or just like reading it on the subway. Like thousands of people read Danielle Steele book, millions actually. My mom had tons of Danielle Steele books, and that's like introducing the story of Titanic to more mainstream
Mhm.
people, where it's like they're not going to pick up, they're not going to seek out just a Titanic book, but
Yeah,
hey,
they're like, oh, I'm going to read this Danielle Steele book, and then all of a sudden they're like,
that's pretty interesting.
I'm reading about the Titanic. What's going on? Um, so anyway, so this is mine and Dan's like favorite book ever. I have a lot. I have a lot of Titanic books, but this is probably like our favorite book ever. And I cannot read it or even talk about it without just like welling up in tears.
Hmm.
It is The Midnight Watch.
Oh, fantastic. Such a great book. Such
And
a
I'm going to
great
tell
book.
you, this book, the author did so much research on it. There's a whole like website that the author David Dyer did, and the website is just devoted to the research pretty much that he did on this book. I highly encourage you to read the book and then go to the website and see all the research that he did prior to writing the book. Absolutely fantastic. Literally the best book I have ever read, Titanic or otherwise. It is a novel, so there are parts in it that are fictional, but it's based on so much research that I don't know.
To me, it's one of the best fictional Titanic, but I mean, if not the,
it is just
there's
so amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a Titanic enthusiast and you haven't read this book, I just don't see how you could do it.
Yeah.
Stephen Pierce, hi kids, excellent discussion. One of my faves is The Only Way to Cross by John Max Tone Graham.
Oh,
There you go.
We'll probably be talking about that book, and because that book actually was how John Max Tone Graham got the manuscript that Violet Jessup wrote. And
oh boy, don't even talking about Violet Jessup. We're talking.
Well, no, that's
we'll have to talk about that. We'll have a whole night just devoted to Violet Jessup.
Coming soon.
The next time we'll pick a very meaningful night and we'll just devote it to Violet Jessup. I named my cat after Violet Jessup. So anywho.
And I also have like 8 copies of her memoirs. But anyway.
He really does. Like every color under the rainbow, Dan has it.
The UK print, the US print, the mass market paperback, the hardcover.
He even has the bad Violet Jessup books, the ones that are really inaccurate.
Well, no, there's one bad Violet Jessup book, and then there's actually an animal-based Titanic book that was a spin-off of the Violet Jessup. But anyway, that's for
but we digress.
Future episode.
This is such a good book. I cannot even begin to
I mean, I don't even want to like, it falls together so well. And like, I mean, this isn't giving anything away, but like how it approaches Captain Lord from the Californian is fantastic.
Lord of the Californian.
Yes.
But anyway, this is available in like hardback, paperback, Audible. It's available on Kindle.
I would get a hardcover copy though, because it's worth having.
I have like so many copies. I have it on all of those versions. I have hardback, paperback, Kindle, and Audible.
Oh, I forgot I had the Kindle Titanic Survivor. Never mind.
Oh gosh, Dan.
But I will say this, to not give anything away for people that are like, it's a Titanic fiction book. Don't judge the book by the cover's beautiful, but also the Titanic chapter in that book, I will say, is worth it by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's like one of the best accounts of it's
David Dyer, if you're watching, we'd love to talk to you.
Oh, please, because I can't fawn over that book enough.
I know it's long, but we'll like talk behind the scenes sometimes, and we were just like, oh my gosh, this book. It's so good. I talked to the library at the school where I work into getting it.
The oranges. Joe will remember this, just to not give anything away, but Joe will know what I'm talking about. The oranges just get.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. Please read it. I mean, if you take anything.
So that being said, fiction has a place. Okay, nonfiction is wonderful and has a place. Steve Hall, you have all of my respect, and I love your books. Love them.
Oh no, like I'll say it, like Titanic nonfiction. I mean, like Steve's book.
They're the best. I mean, he wrote literally the Bible on the Titanic.
Oh, absolutely. And then like A Night to Remember and The Night Lives On together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those were like the first books I read.
Phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I mean, Titanic nonfiction is.
But I mean, truly, A Night to Remember though is fiction, because.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Was Walter Lord there? Was Walter Lord on the Titanic? No, he wasn't. So how can he get all that dialogue? He can't, because those are fiction. this is fiction. This is a work of fiction, but it's absolutely phenomenal. One of the most well-researched, well-written books I have ever read. Abby says, how many Titania books do you own and which do you love the most? Abby, this is the one I love the most.
Oh,
Probably.
that's tough for me.
This is my favorite fiction book.
Fiction, yes.
I cannot choose a nonfiction book.
I can choose about 10.
I can't choose a nonfiction book.
I
love Objects du Titanic, the one in French with all the
French book. That's a cool looking book too.
Yeah, the French one with all the artifacts. That's probably like way up there. But then there are Steve Hall and Bruce Beveridge's The Ship Magnificent. Those are amazing. And then Titanic in Pictures. And then there's Father Brown's book with all the photographs.
Yeah.
I just can't pick one.
For me, probably I would say Titanic Survivor, Titanic End of a Dream by Win Wade. It was about
a good one too. See, I can't pick one. It's just not possible.
A Night to Remember / A Night Lives On.
There you go. I like those too.
Oh my God, there's so many.
There's just you can't pick one. It's like trying to pick a favorite kid. You can't. All right, so this brings me to this. Steve Pierce says Walter Lord interviewed over 60 survivors to write A Night to Remember. I have correspondence from him when he wrote to me multiple times, 50 to 60 plus years ago. Really? Okay.
Oh, I love Walter Lord, and there's a book that he was kind of involved.
Nigel Bryant says his favorite is Titanic in Photographs.
Oh, that's a great book.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan. Those are good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Walter Lord is he's a fantastic history writer in general. He was involved with another book that I'm gonna show that's a different thinking that Walter Lord, he didn't he had the artwork that was put on the cover, and it's a book that we'll talk about in the future about the SS Arctic disaster. But yeah, Walter Lord is fantastic.
I'll have to show these one day. Okay. Nigel just said illustrated history. Okay.
Ooh,
do you remember when I got the illustrated history from thrift books?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to take my my paperback one to school to show the kids at school that year I was subbing. So I was like, oh, well, let me just buy the hardback one to keep for my collection. I'll take the paperback one to school. So I bought the hardback one for $12 from Thrift Books, and it was signed by Ken Marshall and Don Lynch. And I about just passed out. Remember, because you always check the inside just to make sure. So when I got it for $12 from Thrift Books, when I opened it up, I was like, ah! You remember that?
Ken Marshall isn't around at a lot of stuff.
No. And then I also have the leather-bound edition of Illustrated History.
I just have the regular hardcover version.
Steve Pierce says, yes, I still have the letters in an envelope with an 8-cent stamp, his signature, and each letter, his name embossed in the papers. Wow, that's awesome.
You should send those to me. I'll hold on to them for you.
I'll hold on to them for you. All right, anyway, we're getting off track. All right, so this is my new book. This is Many a Knot, written by my friend Ashley Herzog. Dan got it too. It is brand new. I just got it yesterday from Amazon.
As did I.
Ashley is a friend of mine. I believe she lives. Well, I'm not gonna say where she lives.
She's a friend of mine. Let me give you her personal information.
She's a friend of mine. I first became aware of her through my. I'm gonna give my other group a plug. Titanic Adventure at a Time Forever group.
I love that group. That's fun.
It's a fun little group. If you haven't played Titanic Adventure at a Time Forever, if you don't know what it is, it's a video game that came out in 1996. It's absolutely fantastic. But she wrote another book I have one, but Dan has his right there. This is A Ship Out of Time by Ashley Herzog. She wrote it based on the characters from the video game. It's absolutely fantastic. So she wrote another book not too long ago called Lake Erie Monsters, a story of the Cleveland Irish. So she did some research on her family and wrote a book about that was kind of based on her family. And I believe her ancestors are all from Ireland. So Steve Hall, let's see. Oh, he replied to Nigel's comment. Oh, my favorite is On a Sea of Glass. That's a classic book as well.
Another great one. See, they just keep popping.
Steve Hall says it's a classic. If Steve Hall says it's a classic, it is, because that's a great book too. I have that one as well.
As do I.
I have too many books.
So much Titanic. Poor Olympic not getting as much attention.
Anyway, let me get back to this one. So, so Ashley has written this awesome Titanic fiction novel. I'll read you the back of it. It actually sounds really interesting. Like I said, I just got it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance
to read it. Brand new. Yeah, I just got mine yesterday.
But I really want to. So the back of it says, April 1912, Mary Mullen, also known as Finna, is about to finish her senior year at Loretto Convent School for Girls, a boarding school in Dublin. But instead of returning home to County Galway, Finna decides she wants to run away from her wealthy yet abusive family. She enlists the help of Dennis Lennon, a young employee who has become her only friend at home. As they make plans to run away together, Dennis Lennon, known by his Irish name, Donnacha, becomes more than a friend. But together, I probably did not say that right, Ashley. Please do not be mad at me. Together, they board the Titanic in Queenstown as third-class passengers traveling under fake names. Joe, Finna's oldest brother, chased them all the way to the docks with a gun. 4 nights later, the ship hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic. Finna and Donnacha, along with other Irish passengers they met on the way, will meet fate in ways they never imagined. I think that sounds really interesting. And like I said, Ashley is an author. I think she's a journalist as well. It looks like a really interesting book. The Titanic Adventure Out of Time book was really interesting. She's a great friend, really interesting lady. So I'm really looking forward to give this a read. Again, Titanic fiction novels have a great place in the Titanic community. They're interesting. She's put a lot of research into this and into her Irish heritage. So it's not very often that you see a novel about third-class passengers. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really alluring about this book. A lot of times you see your first-class passengers,
first-class crew members.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really intriguing to me. So it's not a ridiculously expensive book. So I mean, just give it a try. I'll post the link. I posted the link in the Great Olympic Class group by RMS Titanic Reflections. You guys should give it a go to see what happens. It looks interesting. Maybe we can get Ashley on here one evening to.
That'd be fantastic.
About it. Huh?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So next, Abby says, what's the, let's see. Oh, so wait a minute. I missed a comment. Steve says, nice try. I have a presentation I do for no charge on the Olympic class ships, and I have a traveling museum of artifacts. The letters are part of the display. Oh.
Hey, you can't blame a guy for trying.
Yeah. All right. Abby says, what's the genre of Titanic movies books? I actually never thought of it, but now I know it's basic on the real Titanic. That's based. What's the genre of Titanic movie books? I never thought of it, but I know it's basic on the real Titanic.
Yeah, historical.
Just historical. There's like historical fiction.
Yeah, historical drama, stuff like that.
So now we're coming to a segment that we call special interests. And we were looking for some viewer feedback here, but I'm going to do something different. Hold on. We're going to see if any of you wanted to join us live in the chat. You're more than welcome to. I'm going to attempt to do this. So just bear with me. I'm going to post the I'm going to post the Zoom link in the comments. And if anybody would like to join us, you can click on the link and we'll let you in if you'd like to chat with us. And we'll just do this for a short period of time. If anybody is watching us live,
love questions and comments.
I have posted the Zoom link in the comment section on the RMS Titanic Reflections page. So if you are watching us live, go to the RMS Titanic Reflections page and look in the comment section. And the Zoom link is in the comment section on the RMS Titanic Reflections page. We just asked for no profanity and no nudity.
Yes, please.
And follow those rules. You're welcome to join us.
We don't want to get banned for.
Hi, Steve Pierce is joining us. We'll just open this up for about 15 minutes or so. If anybody would like to join us and chit chat for a few minutes, you're more than welcome. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, nice to meet you, Farley. Nice to meet both of you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you too.
I've got a show coming up on Thursday, and I'm sorry the letters are going to be part of it.
That's really quite something to have from two collectors here. We're very interested in seeing those sometime. Do you ever post pictures of them or anything?
I have, yes. I've got a whole wall of Titanic and Olympic and Britannic pictures right next to me.
Okay.
Good. All three of them. That's always.
Yeah, I show the whole history on my presentation. I start with, if it's a long enough, if I have enough time, I'll go back to the German liners that were built in the 1890s, and then move on to the Lusitania, Mauretania, which is why the Olympic basically was built. And then I go on and tell the history of all three of the ships. And it's about an hour and a half presentation.
Nice.
Oh, that's the interesting part about the whole thing is even different companies, even separated by decades, they really link to one another. Kind of a lot of the ships, like you just said, with Mauretania, Lusitania, Olympic was a response pretty much to those. And it's interesting just connecting all of it at once. It's a lot of people look at history as separate events when it's really a lot of times really continuous.
And Walter Lord, when he was a child, traveled on the Olympic.
Oh, cool.
He sent me the memoirs of it, but I've lost that because I was only a kid at the time. And so, I mean, Walter Lord, I even got to talk to him on the phone once back in the 1970s. So invited him for dinner, but he had other plans. I was in New York just on vacation. And
well, that must have been quite an experience.
He was quite a gentleman. I was just a kid, and I wrote to him. I got his address out of the library because there was no internet back in the 60s and 70s. And he was kind enough to write several letters to me, hand typed, and of course, and I will always picture. He kept my interest going. It started over 50 years ago. So,
nice.
So we have and then of course he introduced me to the Olympic and the third ship, the Britannic also. So
I work at a high school, and I have a little Titanic presentation that I like to give sometimes around like the anniversary of the sinking. But I do the same thing. I give a little history of the Olympic and the Britannic as well and I give a little background history of the White Star Line and Harlan and Wolff.
sure.
So I totally understand what you're doing there. I like to, share Titanic with everybody.
Yep.
Even if they don't want to hear it. At the high school, I have a captive audience. They have to listen to me.
I went to
Hi, Nigel.
I went to a local grade school here up until the pandemic for 21 years straight, taught the same
Wow.
grade classes. And I'd bring some of the stuff in that I have to put on display. And you always had one or two kids in each class that just ate it up.
Mm-hmm.
Ate it up. The teachers would always have them doing something different. One time they would be writing a newspaper article about a survivor. Or another time they would draw pictures of the Titanic sinking or something. It always had something different every year. But the pandemic kind of killed that. But it may start up again. I'll have to wait and see.
I've been fortunate enough to have some of my Titanic friends join me with my presentations in school last year. It was really great. And I took some of my collectibles in. And like you said, that there were a few kids every single time that would be really interested, and the rest of them were like,
Yep. They were like, okay, whatever.
But I always had fun. I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So, hey, Nigel, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Is this working?
Hi there, Nigel.
Hello, nice to meet you.
How have you been?
I've been well. I'm just recovering from a recent concussion, so I'm a lot better now. So, yeah,
You feeling better?
yeah, a lot better now. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Yeah. But it's been a while, but no, I'm going good. So,
Nigel's part of the admin team for Titanic Reflections. So I'm happy to see him feeling better, back on his feet.
and just while we're on books, I'll just quickly show you just some of my collection if you want.
Sure. What do you have?
Absolutely.
So
I see some Steve Hall books up there.
Wow.
got a few.
Oh, that's a good one. I have that one too. Steve, do you have a lot of books?
I do, and I have a lot of duplicates. I think the one that my wife treasures the most is the first edition of Lawrence Beasley's book.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
good one.
And that's hers. That's not mine. She has her own. Yes, there are certain things that I have, and there are certain things that she has, and there are certain things that we have.
Ah,
And there's quickly this is the movie set, Rosarito, Mexico.
oh, nice. That is a nice one. Very nice.
Photographed by Victor Young. So yeah.
Very nice.
I'm more than a little jealous with all this. I'm like, I want all this. Give it to me.
Nigel has a nice collection. He likes to collect stuff too. I think, yeah, the model, you have a nice model there. Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's nice too. Oh, wow.
That has the stamp from Harlan and Wolff on the
Oh,
back. That was the
Oh.
official photograph of the Titanic. I was able to buy that at auction, many years ago. And it's the only one I've ever seen that has the stamp Harlan and Wolff Shipyard on the back.
I've never seen that either. That's very nice. I love seeing people's collections. Hello.
They don't know I'm on Zoom with people right now, so
I don't know where you are, Steve, but it's the middle of the night here.
it is here too. It's 11:23. I'm at Central Standard Time.
I'm on Eastern, but my kids are asleep. So
They're missing all the Titanic action.
I know it's the only time I get peace and quiet. I love them to death though.
Oh,
And for
Yeah,
Nigel,
yeah.
he's in New Zealand, so it's already
That's about to
tomorrow.
say. Nigel's in
Saturday.
New Zealand I'm talking to right now. My wife just walked in. Everybody say hi to Trina.
Hi.
Hi.
Trina has her own collection of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's don't worry about it. It's a lot smaller than Steve's, but he's had a head start on me. I think the most expensive thing and the thing I'm very proud of is I have one of the Olympic chairs
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Really?
from the a la carte restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah, it's up in my living room right now, covered because we have a cat that's living with us for a while, and I don't want the cat on the chair.
no.
I don't blame you because they will get everywhere. I have a cat too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Joanna, by the way.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I did have it in the guest room along with other antiques, and it made a nice display. But I had to move it because the kids stay here on weekends. But yeah, it was actually quite fascinating when I ordered it. John White, I got it through him, and he messaged me because another one had just sold. He said, "You won't believe this. Of all the places in the world that the other one could have been sold, it ended up being in the United States. Illinois is where I'm at. It was in Illinois, and it was what, like an hour,
60 miles away.
60 miles away from us."
That's where I am too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Where's he at in Illinois? That's Dan.
Hi, Dan. Where are you at in Illinois?
The big city.
We're in the
okay.
Rockford area.
Oh, okay, very
Yeah.
close.
Yes.
Well, we got to get together then. We got a lot of stuff to show off.
Yeah, then you guys could give me the chair and then
Oh, he wants my Walter Lord. You want my Olympic?
I'll hold on to it. And then,
Keep it safe from the cat, right? Yeah, I got your number.
Ask him if he wants my
Uh-huh.
Olympic porthole
I'm
cover too.
supposed to ask you if you want Steve's Olympic porthole cover also.
yes, of course, yes.
Well, I'll give you back to Steve, and it was good meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too.
Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right. My little friend Abby in the chat, she has a question. Abby, what's your question, honey? Do you want to type it or do you want to join the chat? There we go. We've got one more joining us. But Abby, if you want to type your question out in the comments, you're more than welcome. Or if you want to join us in Zoom, you're more than welcome to do that too. Totally up to you.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is great.
Okay, thanks for playing, right? This is showing up. Okay, making sure she doesn't
She
have
just-
any of the other kids.
And I'll just get
Oh, all right.
So while we're showing stuff, I've managed to acquire pieces of the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic over the years. I have a little piece of Titanic rust and a piece of Titanic coal. I have a piece of Olympic molding from the first class section, and I have a little piece of, a tiny little piece of the Britannic. It's like a piece of pre-installation wood from a cabinet.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make me like jealous? I mean,
We gotta get with Dan since he's so close. Because I've got a corner panel that came off the Olympics, one of the staterooms. I think it was B-52, and it's actually about 50 pieces of wood bolted together to make one little corner panel.
Do you?
Fascinating.
I mean, mine is so tiny, but it is so.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Mine's like the tip of my finger.
No, mine's about
It's
3 feet
Mr.
tall.
Barrett's joining us from Australia. Hello.
Hello.
the worldwide Titanic show.
Yep.
Hello, people.
Yes, Abby, you can join us, sweetie. You're
Hey
more
there,
than welcome.
John.
Just click on the link if you have Zoom and you can come on in if you want. I'll let you in. Hello. What's up, John?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes, hello. I'm trying to answer questions in the chat, Ian.
Oh, hello, Titanic
Angela.
people.
John has a little collection as well. He has some books and
Do I have to take the laptop? Because I'm on the laptop. Do I have to take the laptop to show them the
you
cabinet?
can, or you can bring some items to the laptop, or you can just tell us about it.
No, it's easier. Hang on. It's easier if I go this way. Sorry,
Oh,
people.
we're moving.
We're moving. We're underway, Houston.
He makes fun of all my junk, but he has collected some things over the years.
I think the weirdest thing that I have is I was at work one day and I went to the paint counter and I typed the word Titanic into the search bar and I mixed a couple of sample cans of all the colors that had Titanic in the title. One was Titanic Rose and one was Titanic Gray, which doesn't make much sense.
Did they have Titanic buff? Like for the
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
there we go.
Hi, it's my friend Abby. Hi, Abby. How are
Hi,
you?
Sorry, I don't feel comfortable with my video chat on because I'm a little different now and I'm not comfortable right now because
No,
I just
that's
I had
quite all right.
surgery not that long ago.
That's okay. Abby, thank you for joining us. We're just kind of nerdy Titanic people just talking about Titanic. We're getting ready to see John's collection of Titanic stuff from Australia.
Ooh,
Okay. Oh yeah.
awesome.
I can see myself on the other computer. I got iPads going off here, Joanna, iPhones and everything, but I can see myself on my computer.
We see
Awesome.
Ooh.
Okay. So, there's two cabinets. So that's top shelf. Hang on. So I got heaps of shit, like I've got stuff like that, for instance, the Titanic seal and iceberg scene.
this is little
And I've got
unique.
jigsaw puzzles. I've got the famous Titanic ship that I've never actually completed, that one there. Joanna knows all about that. She pissed herself laughing once when I was doing a live thing and it fell off the stand. Remember that, Joanna?
Oh, I do remember that.
Yes, you're a very bitter, twisted woman. Few, smaller books there. The Harlan and Wolff Titanic model.
Oh, that is cool.
That's the Harlan and Wolff one. Going down a bit further, we've got the Titanic coin bank. Don't get me started on the Titanic coin bank. Joanna and
I have
I
one
had
of
some
those.
over the Titanic coin bank.
Oh, look,
I've-
it's a little.
I've got my little Britannic and Olympic RMS Titanic, the Giblo models. And in front of that, I've got the engine telegraph. Going down the next, that's the start of some of the hardback books. Down a bit further, some soft cover stuff. It's all Titanic. I'm a nutter. There's Titanic nutters everywhere. Okay, so that's the first cabinet. Now, unfortunately, there's two. Hang on. Close that one up. I'm doing house renovations at the moment, people, so I'm stepping over electric scooters and all that sort of stuff. So, hang on, let me have a look.
Ooh, Adventure Out of Time sealed.
Can I break in here for a real quick second?
Yeah, Steve,
There you
what's
go.
up?
I'm going to show you something. I don't know if that's a good light that nobody has ever seen before.
Ooh.
An exclusive.
Down.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
This was painted
Ooh.
by the lady that's holding it.
Who's the artist?
Oh, wow.
Right there. She, I call it the last sunrise.
That's
And it's
beautiful.
it's oil on or acrylic on canvas.
That's gorgeous.
She did it was a Christmas present. And of course, I'm showing it off because it's so special.
Beautiful.
I thought you guys would like that. But she doesn't want me to show you her face. We don't care. This
Okay, John, what else you got?
Okay, so the next cabinet. Trying to see what you can see. So more books at the top. Coming down.
With the submersible model.
There, it's coming.
Mhm.
So there's two of them. The submersible model. Some Sheila I met online. She sent me that plastic dish. I can't remember what her name was, but anyway. We go across to the next one.
Oh, is that the in the bottom corner there? Is that it was on the cassette tape, the movie, right?
What?
With Rose and Jack there with the
What is that?
Chinese. I think it's
Yeah. I know what you're talking
LCD
about.
or-
Hang on. You're talking about that.
yeah. It's on
Okay,
cassette
so when the
tapes.
movie came out in 97, right? The first day it came out, my missus was pregnant and I took a sickie from work and I went and watched the movie. And no kid, within a week and a half, the Chinese had this bodgy DVD selling at Chinese markets down in Sydney.
Oh,
And it's the quality of it is absolutely crap. But
that's
at the time,
fantastic though. That is so cool though.
Well, we know
At
how
the
you like
time-
pirated movies.
at the time, it was fantastic. Let me tell you, I was the most popular boy in the street because I was saying to everybody, oh yeah, I've got Titanic. You want to come up in my place and watch it? They all wanted to come up and watch it, even though the quality of it was crap. But anyway, yeah, that was that. Going down a bit further, I've got a Britannic model and I've got an inflatable Titanic that
Oh, that darn
It's
inflatable thing. Gosh.
it's absolutely horrendous. It's horrendous. There you go to the next one, bit more Titanic stuff. Down again. The bigger books start to happen now. I had to, because the cabinet's not that deep. And as we know, Titanic Illustrated History and a few of the other books, they're just too damn big. More
I have
Titanic
the Magic
models.
Rocks. That's really unique.
Yep, more Titanic models. Come down again. Some of the heavier books now. More. And get down to the bottom. Get down to the bottom now.
All big heavy books.
Thought I
It's
saw
about-
Ocean Liners of the Past on there.
Yeah, oh, which ones?
Ocean Liners of the Past. The from
The shipbuilder ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good
those
book.
two by Mark Warren.
No, I
Those
was
ones.
talking about the shipbuilder one.
Yeah, the
Uh,
shipbuilder.
Okay, I saw the cover of the one I had. I bought mine in like 1970. And you
There's-
have the same similar cover that I had, the white cover.
Yep. Oh no, I've got the other. I've got that one as well. You know, I've got about 270 of the damn books. You know, it just
Yeah.
keeps growing. Unlike
Fantastic.
some people, unlike some people, I've read them all.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, that's me.
So Abby has a question. Abby, you can unmute yourself so we can ask it. I'm not sure. What do you mean by artificial Titanic?
Like, so what I meant was that how many like artificial, like the real artificial facts you have about the like the Titanic ships? Like, what do you got from it, or like something? I don't know how to say it.
Oh,
We
so
like-
you mean like actual artifacts from the ships?
Yeah.
Okay,
But I was
so like
talking about like
stuff-
the coal and the
Oh.
rust, or
Anything in general, I could say. Anything in general that excludes into the Titanic.
anything from the actual ship, or just like models of it, like replicas of it, or
I don't know, to be honest. I guess it just depends on like, I don't know how you put it in that way. It's just anything really.
well, like I have like the coal and the rust from the actual Titanic, and then you know, I have like that piece of wood from the Olympic and the piece of wood from the Britannic. And Steve, you were saying you have something from the actual Britannic, right?
I have a piece of the Grand Staircase. I have a piece of coal like you have from the Titanic, a little tiny piece of wood from the Titanic, and then I also have a couple of small pieces of the hull that fell off while they were reconditioning the big piece and a bollard.
That's what I
And-
have.
Yeah, that set that you could buy. I have that too. And then from the Olympic, I have all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
All kinds of stuff from the Olympic.
And then
I've only
I
got a
have
piece
like
of
my
coal.
bollard piece. I have that in a necklace that I wear. And I wear it to school a lot, Abby. So
I noticed that. I forgot about it. It's just like close to my eyes are like, oh, that's pretty. I think I've seen it once for school. It's just I would say with a lot of these artificial facts about the Titanic, it's very cool. I found it very satisfying. It's just sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, where you got that from or stuff like that. But it's very cool.
and then we all have like models and stuff like
I know I can see
tiny
every
replicas
background and stuff for
like
you.
that. And
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a White Star Line uniform button, but I haven't been able to get like a concrete era from when it was from. Not definitely not Titanic era, but a White Star Line uniform button. I have one of those.
collecting is kind of like I don't know, once you start collecting it's kind of hard to stop. Isn't that right, John?
And I would even tell people like, because I have a lot of like reproduction stuff, like I have a lock, the officer's whistle that I
You have
have.
the whistle and the lock and
Yeah. I mean, some people get uppity about it, but I've honestly, you know, if you enjoy it, if you have fun, it's like, I remember there was a terrible time somebody got the lock that said RMS Titanic on it as a Christmas gift. And somebody in one of the Facebook groups just started digging into her about it, like being real like rude about it. And I bought one of the locks out of spite just because I was like, I got into a back and forth with the guy on the site, like she's just trying to enjoy herself. So I just bought one of the locks out of spite just so I could keep it and remember that like, and it's a cool looking lock, but I reproductions could be just as cool. I think even just to start or have something to, you know, like
We have a reproduction of the plates and some of the crystal and
oh,
silverware.
yeah, that stuff's great.
We put it up on display, and then I have a few pieces of actual from the Olympic, the a la carte restaurant. I have a scallop shaped vegetable dish, a fruit bowl, and a kidney shaped vegetable dish. So I have both reproduction and original, and that's fascinating for me to see what it all looked like.
it is fascinating. Last year at the Titanic conference, I got to see some of the real stuff from the Olympic. I have some really nice reproduction china, but to actually see and touch the real stuff, oh my goodness.
Well, yeah,
They call it bone china. And The quality of it is absolutely exquisite.
I've always wanted to see what those first class dining room chairs were like to sit in,
I
even
know.
if I couldn't.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be
Well,
cool.
my wife doesn't have one from the dining room, but she has one from the a la carte restaurant. And that's where my dishes come from too, because
Oh, wow.
the a la carte restaurant used unique China patterns that were not used on any other ships. Whereas like the wisteria pattern you see in the dining room was also used on other ships. So this way I know the original pieces I have are from the Olympic and
Yeah.
not any other ship. That's why I zeroed in on that.
See, Abby, we really get into it. We know like China patterns from different parts of the ship, and like my boyfriend says, we know like the tile color in different parts of the ship, and it's ridiculous.
Do you know how long it normally take a lot of people to find like articles about the stuff that you can reserve and like bring up to like museum and stuff? And it's very cool because you can see like a lot of stuff that you normally don't see. But I just wonder how long does it usually take people to find artifacts and bring it up to to the surface and reserve it?
I don't think they brought artifacts up for many, many years. What was it, like
Mhm.
2005 since they, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a long time.
That seems about right. Because they had this
2004,
stuff for like
2005.
the late 90s exhibitions and
If
stuff.
even
and
then, it's been a really long time since they brought anything up. But I mean, it takes many, many, many hours to get down to the ship and then to retrieve something and take it back up. And it's a very long process to clean and restore artifacts. I'm trying to think, John, what's a good book that's not in French about artifacts?
You want me to get it? Do you want me to get it? You want me to go back inside to get it?
No, not the French one. I don't know if there are any books that's
Oh, I
not.
thought there was, I can't remember what it, oh, there was
Which-
one, it was like an exhibitions book.
I mean, I think we have all of the artifacts,
hang on.
but I don't know.
Oh, what
I mean,
was
I'm trying
it
to think.
called? I can't
I
remember.
think John and I have all of the artifacts books now. We just,
I think there was one I'm thinking out has like a watch on the cover of it.
I know, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know
got
if
that
it's
one
the
buried
restoration
somewhere too.
process. The
I
French
know
one
that they have
does,
to-
but I
They
can't.
have- I'm sorry, when they bring something up from the bottom of the ocean, it has to go through a process where they stabilize it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I mean, and they put it in electrically charged water. I don't know if there's other chemicals added to it, but it
It can
takes
take
quite a
weeks,
while.
months.
Is it
Yeah, so I'm
is it
thinking
one
that
there?
too.
Oh, that Nigel has one, that one with the white slip cover on it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like white cover
one.
comes off. Yeah. That's a cool
That would
one.
have the process in it though, the artifact preservation process.
I think
Hey.
There's
what's
some.
really interesting is like because of Olympic, and I mean it stinks that she was scrapped, but the fact that there's a wealth of wood trim and furniture and so much stuff that you're able to find because it was all sold off to hotels, to restaurants, and so it's that. I think that's really cool with Olympic. And then Britannic, you have its organ that was never installed, which was cool. But
Isn't
I
that
always
in
thought
Switzerland?
the which one? Oh,
Switzerland?
yes, I believe Switzerland. Yeah.
A museum?
Oh, there's Romeo.
The-
Dog. Did you see the dog peep into the camera? Look, there he is.
Aw.
I can show you, dog. It's in my lap.
Oh, there's a cute dog. Hi. Oh,
Good talking to you.
what a pretty dog. Hi. John's dog's still in the show. He's gotten up in the chair. He's just chilling.
There were 3 dogs that survived the Titanic, I think, wasn't there? Was it 3?
Yeah. Yeah,
Three that were saved, I believe. Little tiny
Little
dogs
ones.
that were put in lifeboats with their owners.
Wasn't it who was it? Was it Williams, the tennis player, he was in the water with one of the dogs, or he like swam up to it or something.
I
Wasn't
don't,
there a peak-
I think it
wasn't
was just 3 that were put in the lifeboats.
Yeah, Norris Williams, the tennis player,
I don't
he
know.
was like swimming in the water, and he like came face to face with one of the, like a bulldog or something.
Yeah, it was a French bulldog or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was swimming. It's a crazy story.
Was there a Pekingese that was saved too?
Yes, I think there
Okay.
was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
And the mystery of the Titanic cat continues.
I know, there's always a mysterious,
The cat, yeah, Violet Jessup said it left the ship, but
Oh, Jenny.
yeah, Jenny the Titanic cat.
Jenny the
I
cat.
don't know, y'all. Titanic cat.
I think I'm the
There's several books about Titanic cats, children's books. We should do a
Okay.
whole segment about children's books.
Oh, that would be like 7 hours long.
I know, like rows and rows of shelves of like Titanic
Rose.
road, ha, shelves of Titanic kids books. Insane. Oh Lord, he's come back with artifact books. Abby, you ready for this?
Yep.
Okay,
I don't know
Abby.
where all mine are. I don't know. There you go.
Okay, Abby. Abby, these are the 2 smallest ones. They're both the same books, but just different covers.
Ooh.
Ah.
Okay.
Nice.
You know, quite nice. But what you would probably purchase if you went to the exhibition. You know, it probably cost you $20, you know,
Oh, that would be a good deal.
pretty flimsy. But anyway,
I think
that's
the blue
that
one you can find on eBay pretty easily.
Yeah. And then the next one, hang on. The next one's a bit bigger and it's much better.
Ooh, I
Titanic, the
haven't watched it.
exhibition,
Ooh.
and it's got a lot more pages in it.
I have that one too. That's a cool one.
Probably
it's
give
got
you a
lots
lot
of-
more good description about the item too.
Sorry.
A lot more information about the items.
Yes, a lot more information. And then you've got the 2 big books on the artifacts. This one is in French,
Oh no.
okay, and it's all about the original recovery operation after Ballard and Infirmare had their falling out when they had the big fight, and that book is all about the original artifacts that they brought up, but it's very scientific and it goes right into detail about how they had to treat the items, because each item, like whether it was leather or glass or wood or whatever,
Wow.
it was really high tech, and they were skating on the skin of their pants. You know, a lot of the stuff that they brought up at the time, they didn't quite realize how they could look after it. So it is a very good book, but it's in French and it's very high tech. And the last one I actually got. Some Sheila I know overseas bought this for me. And
Oh, cool.
it is a very nice book. It's in Chinese, but the story with this is some province in China called Guangzhou or something. They've got a museum, and they got into touch with RMSTI, the mob who owns all the artifacts at the moment, and RMSTI sent over 300 artifacts to this Guangzhou museum, obviously before they got COVID. And you know, it's a beautiful book, and it's in Chinese but also in English. And a lot of the stuff in this book, these other artifacts books, just doesn't show it. I've never seen some of this stuff before in any of the books.
Wow.
It's excellent. Like tiles.
Ooh, the title looks pretty.
Yeah, no, it's good. There's a lot of. What else can I show you? But all the pages are really big, and the pictures are really big. And yeah, so
Very detailed.
it
For
is.
the
It's,
Chinese, though.
and you can buy that in the States. I think some Sheila that I know might be able to give you the link to where that was purchased from.
Nice.
And
Thank
the
you.
thing is too, that with the artifacts, it's an ongoing process. They have to keep treating them and preserving them, the ones that are on display and the ones that are in storage.
I wonder how long they can keep on, like, preserving it, like forever and ever, I guess.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's an expensive process. Anything that's paper, linen, metal, things like that, they all have to be treated specially. And, it's just an ongoing process. They have to have a certain moisture content in the air. They have to be stored at a certain temperature. They have to be just handled a certain way. I don't think people realize just how fragile that stuff is. It's not, just something you can just throw out there and be like, here it is. It's got to be maintained and cared for on a daily basis.
Nice.
So yeah, just little artifact stuff for you. But anyway, so here we are. It's almost 1 o'clock here on the East Coast.
Yep.
Abby, why are you still awake?
Because I don't go sleep till, I don't know, 5.
You won't
I
sleep
have-
with this in a few weeks.
Well, I have a massive schedule right now. It's just when I had surgery. So don't worry, I'll be back on track later.
Okay, so we're probably gonna wrap this up. Our last segment is upcoming events. This has been wonderful chit-chatting with all of you, meeting all of you. We will definitely do this again. Like I said, the 401 is going to be a regular scheduled event taking place.
Program.
It may not always be a late night talk show, but this is kind of fun.
Oh,
See who's
yeah.
up about this time. But upcoming events, what we've got coming up is Titanic Con 22 in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh,
I'll be there.
I'll be there in spirit.
Spirit as well.
It's
I'll be there,
organized by
Spirit.
the great Bill Willard, who was on the expedition that brought up the big piece. He also devised this lovely little ROV that went down to the Titanic. Bill is just a fascinating human being. I'm happy to call him my friend, but he organizes this event every year. It's very affordable, and Pigeon Forge is the home of the Titanic Museum attraction, which is absolutely lovely. They don't have artifacts that were brought up from the wreck, but they have lots of Titanic memorabilia, artifacts that were recovered from the wreck site right after the ship sank, floating artifacts, and I was just absolutely blown away. They have a really professional setup there. It's just, you could spend, I went twice to the museum last year, and I could have spent days there. It's just really phenomenal. The things that they have there, the exhibits that they have. It's very professionally done. It's very interesting. I'd highly recommend it. But anyway, so TitanicCon 22, there are lots of speakers, lots of sessions. You get to meet other Titanic nerds like me. Abby laughs. She's like, yeah, I'm still here. It's real. Anyway, so I'm just really looking forward to that. TitanicCon 22. There's a TitanicCon 22 group out there. I'll try to post a link in the comments. If anybody's interested, registration is still open. I think there's also a Titanic Historical Society event coming up in September. I'm sure if you checked out the Titanic Historical Society, you can get some more information on that. But I hear that's a phenomenal event as well. That's all I know of that's coming up in the near future. Do you all have anything else to add? Anybody? Dan, John, Steve, Nigel, Abby, anybody?
I'd like to just say that told my wife when we retire, she wants to move south, and I've mentioned both Branson and Pigeon Forge, but she's not so sure that that would be a good idea.
Oh,
I would like to go to that, but I can't go this year. But I'd look, if you do it every year, I would like to eventually come down there to Pigeon Forge. It's not that far of a drive, just a
I
day's
know.
drive.
Bill does his event every year. Now, it's not gonna always be at Pigeon Forge. I think the past few years it's been, but you know, he does try to do it, you know, at a nice place like that.
Mhm.
But he does do Titanicon, you know, yearly. He does try to make it a yearly event. And he does try to make it reasonably priced so that, and he's not, but the thing I like about Titanicon is not necessarily affiliated with any certain group. He just makes it open to anybody who's interested in the Titanic. And he does
Right.
try to make it relatively affordable, you know, so anybody can go, you know, if you can afford to get there. But I mean, I think it's a great event. And like I said, last year was my first experience, and it was so nice meeting hear my friends face to face and learning more about the Titanic. Frank Goldsmith was there last year. Bill Sauter was there last year. We got to meet the curator of the Titanic museum attraction. And like I said, we got to go there twice. It was so much fun. You know, going through that, learning even more about the Titanic, and you know, just seeing an exhibit there, and you know, it was just a really interesting experience. So moving. I'm trying to think what else we did. And just bonding with other people who, you know, are like-minded and who, you know, have similar interests, because you know, until I got on Facebook, I didn't think anybody else was interested in the Titanic.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
There's so many people that are interested in the Titanic, regardless of country. So many people interested in the Titanic, regardless of country and location. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. And it's nice to know that I'm not alone. And it, yeah.
We're worldwide nutters, Joanna. You know that.
Yes,
We're right across the globe.
Yeah, I think the only person I haven't encountered, or only continent I haven't encountered yet, was Antarctica. I think Asia, Asia, Africa. I've talked to Titanic fans in Africa, Europe, of course. I mean, that's
The Philippines.
Philippines, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, all over. I mean, look at the panel right now. It's just
Yeah, we're
all over the place.
Definitely. But this has been lovely. We're gonna probably call it to a close until next time. This has
I'll
been
send pictures of my show later this week, okay?
that would be lovely.
I'll be
Are you
glad to
familiar
do
with my group, Steve? RMS Titanic Reflections, Great Olympic Class Ships by RMS Titanic Reflections. You're always welcome to post there.
Okay.
We would welcome it anytime. But anyway, until next time, everybody. We'll see you next time on the 401. Bye.
Have a great day or evening, everybody.
Bye.